Quick video, I'm going to post this right up to YouTube. 3 issues tonight, guys. Just kind of Mickey Mouse stuff I'm playing with. I've actually got 2 Chinese tanks and an OEM tank. And what I've found is that both of the Chinese tanks have inadequate tank vents. In fact, they're completely ineffectual. Not just inadequate, but completely no good. So what that means is that when you apply pressure here, you should see bubbles come out here. And likewise, if you put a little brake cleaner or carb cleaner on there or something, when you reverse your midi vac and draw a vacuum, you should see it just suck down in. Gas is not intended to leak out of there at any given moment. It's just that it's got to be able to vent one way or another. So if there's pressure inside the tank, technically the tank vent is supposed to more or less mitigate that. So when the carburetor draws a vacuum, you get fuel up in there and you don't get a vapor lock in the tank. So you have a little bit of air that makes it into the tank, and that way you can continue to draw the vacuum. Anyway, so what happened was you can see that there's this gold thing here, and I drilled a hole in the gold thing, and then I used a screw. The screw was just on there just like that. I screwed it in, and then I just grabbed with my nip axe here and worked it out. And the whole thing, including that black piece, the whole thing came out. And it does not look like the long inserts that the OEM has. It's like this short black thing. Anyway, what I did was a super Mickey Mouse setup. Is I cut the gold part out because it was completely ineffective, and I put the remnant of the black piece back in, and then I took some 1184 and put an 1184 around there and put that white OEM tank vent puck in, and I'm going to see whether or not that actually works. Now, there's a guy, CZ, or whatever you want to call him, on the forum that actually has a solution with an echo tank vent, and I like that a lot, but I don't see how to attach it because there's no nipple here to actually attach it to. So you'd have to probably run a line through here into the tank and then up and into the carb area, and then use an echo tank vent on that. So that's possible to do. I just don't have the Echo or the Echo clone vents, whatever they are. I don't happen to have them right now. So if this doesn't work, I'll just tear that out. I'll drill out an appropriate hole for some fuel line and put that in there. So that's one issue. Second issue has to do where the heck is it? I don't know where it went. Where's my Scotch Brite? Scotch Brite. This stuff. Scotch Brite. Okay, thanks to Mike Lee. He's down south somewhere. I was kind of frustrated, and I reached out to him, and I was like, you know what? I've got this 440 I just put together, the China 440, and the compression's good. The compression's going up after a tank or two. Went from 165-ish to 175, so the compression's going up, which is awesome. Pulled the muffler off, and I found all these little scratches on the piston. I'm like, oh, come on. And as it turns out, it's not scored, it's just these little scratches, and it's scratched all the way around internally. If you bring the piston down far enough, you can look in there and see. So I was like, oh, man, you know, what's going on? Well, probably debris. Could be debris. You know, maybe I didn't wash the cylinder good enough. That's possible. But also, after doing all my port work, even though I use really fine diamonds on the transfers, I probably should be running Scotch Brite in there after. So, new policy on all my ported saws is I'm going to be running Scotch Brite to clean up all the cylinders. I don't know why I wasn't doing it before, but that's going to be, I think, super important on all my cylinders to run the Scotch Brite in there, because I think the Nickel coatings, this highway plating is really like hard. It tends to chip a bit, but man, is it hard. And if it burrs at all, you're going to get scratches on the piston. So that's basically what he was saying. I'm a little disappointed with the scratches, although the compression's good, so probably going to leave it, and my dad's got the saw right now. He's going to tear it up. Okay, last issue. Kind of important. So I've got the cylinder head on, this is an OEM case, okay, but likely 2 different case halves from 2 different saws. Anybody see the rock? You think that's good? So this is a good good case here for putting this on the Bridgeport. You know, if you're not going to do anything but clean it up, you got to even that out. You got a few thousandths difference there. And both the landings are probably level. You know, both of them are probably perpendicular to the travel of the piston. But that really isn't the best, huh? So I got to check a squish on here and then figure out exactly how much to take off there on the Bridgeport. So if you're using different case halves like I do all the time, you got to go in there and check it out, because yeah, I machine most of my cases, so I don't really notice this as an issue, but I just happened to fit this and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's a gap. You'd break something or whatever. It could be that the cylinder head's off, but I don't think so. So I'm gonna go take this to the Bridgeport and clean it up and make sure it's all nice and level. So those are the 3 issues I wanted to go over tonight. They're actually kind of important. Check your tank vents before you install one of these Chinese fuel tanks. Now, you know, I like the fuel tank. I do. I actually like the fuel tank. It feels good. The old ones were kind of blocky and not good, but this actually feels nice, and you know, I think it's going to be all right. You might want to change out the fuel lines and filters. I'm not going to for now, but the one issue, that silly tank vent. The other issue I had on this one was the trigger was a little bit sticky, so you can just look where the trigger tends to bind and just kind of feather that off. You know what, let me see if I can get one for you. Hold on. This is turning into a typical 13-minute Matt Olson video, but yeah, so actually, like right here on this part, because this actually binds on this handle. Yeah, so I think the spot that binds is right here. It's on this floppy piece. Come on, focus. So you got to round this over just a little bit, and where it goes is right here is a sharp spot. And again, you got to flare that out a little bit, make it even more sharp, so the pieces tend to slide past each other nice and easy. So pretty simple. Yeah, as long as these pieces slide past one another, they're fine. So you might have to pull the pins on this, pull this whole thing out, and keep in mind of how it goes back together. This little tail that you got here has to tuck up in there kind of first. There's one of the keys. Anyway, so it was a quick video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps a few people. Just kind of, this is part of troubleshooting. I'm frustrated with this saw because it's running good, and then all of a sudden it doesn't run great. So tank vent, let's start there, because I tested it and certainly it is an issue. So we'll see how that fixes it. Hopefully it fixes it, and if not, I'll let you know what I do. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.